Good morning, true crime friends. How y'all doing? Have you been waiting for this day? I have been waiting for this day for so long. The state of Arizona? I think it's Arizona. I affectionately refer to it as South Idaho, not to be confused with North Idaho, where she was convicted of the unfortunate unaliving of her children. Just please know, anything west of Ohio, it kind of blends together for me. So I affectionately refer to that part of the country as Idaho, because it's just all over there, and I don't know nothing about that. Anyway, opening statements in the Lorivallow Daybell case. I feel like it's like opening day of a sports ball season or something. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay. I'm going to calm myself down so we can talk about it. But first, you know what you need to do. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. That helps other people find us. Also find me on Instagram. I never remember this. Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky. Okay, so look. I did an overview video a couple of weeks ago so that you could get all caught up on all things Lorivallow Daybell. Today, I'm just going to talk about the opening statements. The history of this case, my entire Lori and Chad playlist will be in the description box of this video. So go find it there and start wherever you want to start. Child, I have over 100 videos on these crazy people. Anyway, so the state of South Idaho is charging Lori, now she's Lori Daybell, in the unfortunate unaliving of her fourth husband, Charles Vallow. Are you following this, child? You might need a chart. It's complicated. Okay, so we get to court, right? I mean, I was watching it on my phone, but we show up in court and I'm like, okay, we good to go. And they were like, wait. We have a juror who's lost. I think he's late. We don't know. Is there bad traffic in South Idaho? I had no idea. And then they had this other juror who was like, I have a note from my employer. I don't know if I can do all this because I owe child support and alimony. And he went on telling his tale of woes. I was like, sir, we don't care. We want to hear the crazy lady represent herself. So can you just go and be quiet, sit down someplace. And then Lori was like, Your Honor, Brandon is here in the courtroom. And those who don't know were like, wait, who the heck is Brandon? Brandon Boudreaux, y'all. Okay. This is Lori's former nephew-in-law. She's just like, I have him on my witness list and I might need him. And the state was like, Your Honor, well, I think that Brandon should be able to stay. He's a family member. He can sit here and observe the court if he wants to. And the judge was like, okay, Lori, what is the relevance of Brandon being excluded? And she's like, well, I want him to testify to things. Ma'am, I understand that you're pro se and you may not understand how the court system and laws and stuff work, but that's, that saying somebody's going to testify to things is not a thing. And so you can't do that. What we're not going to do is that. And so they went on sidebar and then the judge was like, okay, go on, take him out in the hall and talk to him for a minute and then let him come on back in. So the court was like, okay, we are going to strike him from your witness list. So now he's no longer a witness. But if you decide you need him, then we will usher him on up here because, we're not starting with the foolishness and the shenanigans. And there in the courtroom was all of Charles Vallow family, a bunch of Lori's family. Everybody was there to see this heifer hang. I mean, represent herself. Please know, in my opinion, the stakes on this case are relatively low. Now, it's high for the family of Charles Vallow. Hey, Kay and them. Oh, I love the Woodcocks. Anyway, the stakes are high for them because it is their family member who has been taken off the playing field, which is terrible. But in terms of the judicial system and will Lori be punished, she's already serving life for the unfortunate unaliving of her children and her fifth husband's wife. But there's a lot of complicated families in this story. Oh my goodness. But, my blood pressure was not up. I was not like, is this evil heifer going to be on the streets? Is she not going to be on the streets? That's not the question here. The question is, will Charles Vallow's family get justice because he was unfortunately unalived by this evil trollop? I mean, she's presumed to be not a trollop until found. I guess she's still presumed to be. I presume her to be a trollop. She's presumed to be not guilty. And we're going to give her that. Okay, you're not guilty of this crime yet. Anyway, so the state finally gets up and says, okay, roll your mind back to July of 2019. And I was like, oh, this took place that long ago? It doesn't seem like that long ago, but this was a long time ago. Lori Vallow was married to Charles Vallow, but she wanted to be Lori Daybell. So that you get a visual, right? Lori used to be a beautiful woman, blonde hair. She had a little cash in the bank. She was raising her kids. She was just like, oh, I'm a hairdresser and I'm gorgeous and I'm just out here living my best life. And I have a gorgeous former professional ball playing husband. He's all jacked up and built. We are like Mormon Ken and Barbie. Don't we look terrific? She has fallen in love with a man from North Idaho, who's broke and looks like a thumb. What she saw in this man, child, I will never understand. But okay, it's not my business. So the state opens up and it's just like, opens by quoting Lori's text messages. And I was like, ooh, dramatic. And the text messages are like, I'm going to need you to stay close to me this week because we about to unfortunately unalive some Mama Luke's over here. I mean, again, not a quote. I'm just giving you the spirit of what was said. She's like, I'm going to be Nephi and you're going to be Laban. And I was like, who? Who? I don't know if you know, I'm not LDS. Hey, Mormon friends. But apparently in the Book of Mormon, Nephi was a good guy and Laban was a bad guy and the good guy killed the bad guy. And so Lori is like, I'm going to be me and you, brother Alex, we're going to be the good guy who kills the bad guy. The bad guy is my brother, it was her husband, Charles Vallow. And I was like, okay, Okay, so she thought she had like biblical authority to unfortunately unalive her husband so she could marry that thumb-looking Mama Luke over there from North Idaho. Okay, girl, this don't sound like a good plan to me, but what do I know, right? And so according to the state, long before she unfortunately unalived her husband, she was just out here giving up the whole game to her friends, right? She was married, everything was going good. They had 5 kids between them, and she was just like, this whole marriage thing, it's not working out for me. So she commits to running her mouth, Lord, another person who has failed shut-up classes. So she was just like saying to her friends, I might have to take him off this mortal coil. I'm going to send him over onto the Endless Heaven buffet and he can have all the creatine he wants over there. But here in my house, nope, I'm not going to do it no more. And so she told her one girlfriend, I've been crushing up. She has a son, Lori and Charles had a little son, JJ, who was autistic, right? And he took all kinds of medications for that. So she opened her mouth and told her girlfriend, I've been crushing up JJ's pills and putting them in Charles's protein shake. And the girlfriend was like, I'm sorry, what? I'm your church friend. Now, what you should maybe not do is confess to poisoning somebody to your church friend. I mean, keep in mind, these are people who don't drink coffee. But they gonna drink. It's okay to poison your smell. Oh, okay. I guess it's no caffeine in poison. Unclear. So the friend was like, hey, Lori girl, come here. Look, if he comes up dead, I'm gonna have to go to the police. I just want you to know. Good on that friend for being like, I know this heifer did not. Don't be confessing to no unfortunate unaliveness to me. As an unrelated aside, friend, don't confess no crimes to me. Because I too have failed shut-up class. Oh yeah, I'm a shut-up school dropout. I'm gonna be like, oh really, girl? How you think you're gonna do it? Speak directly into this flower on my lapel. Like, but hello, police. You're not going to believe what this heifer done said to me. I'm going to report you. I'm going to turn you in just so you know. Anyway, so the friend was like, girl, if he come up dead, I'm telling. And Lori was like, oh my goodness. I was just kidding. And then 3 weeks later, dude was dead. Yo. So I was just like, okay, good on that friend for telling, because caffeine is a sin and so is poisoning people, according to them. I mean, according to everybody, poisoning people is a sin. But anyway, so Charles, meanwhile, was like, okay, I'm going to be in South Idaho, and I'm going to see my crazy wife, and I'm going to try and visit my beautiful, precious child. Meanwhile, let me just get on like J-Date. M-Date. I don't know where our LDS friends go to date, but he went on some like Mormon dating site because they were LDS. He went on a Mormon dating site and he met a nice lady. And he was like, hey, nice lady, let's go to dinner. Look, did you see how big my muscles are? Aren't I a good looking guy? I have a lot of money and I'm a really nice human being and I have a beautiful, wonderful family. And the lady was like, oh my goodness, this is so wonderful. I would love to be your 5th or 6th or 7th wife. Not clear how many, but sometimes, it takes a couple tries to get it right. So they they go on a date, and during the course of this date, Charles overshares. He tells everything. He's like, I married a beautiful woman. Everything was great for a lot of years. Then she got super duper religious, and she went from being like a regular funeral potato Mormon. She slipped over into being a better than you Mormon. And I mean, it was okay. She was better than you Mormon, but then she became a zombie Mormon. For those who don't know, there are 3 levels of Mormonism. According to me, look, this is strictly the gospel according to Kathy. Regular, beautiful, wonderful neighbors, those are funeral potato Mormons. We like them. They are very, very nice people. They make good friends, good neighbors. They don't drink no caffeine. They don't poison people usually. Everything is great. But sometimes they're like, I want to be more devout. And then we have the better than you Mormons, right? The better than you Mormons, oh, they're more Mormon-y than you. But please know, this is not limited to our Mormon friends. It's a better than you PTA mom. It's a better than you block captain. It's a better than you secretary down at the job. There's always a better than you level at everything. She's like, I'm so pious. Now, what happens sometimes is these better than you folks, they slip over into the zombie stage. Now, in this context, when Lori went from a better than you Mormon to a zombie Mormon, she was like, Jesus told me I could kill people, and it don't count for me. Now, see, look, we don't mind. We love our regular funeral potato friends. The better than you level, we are annoyed by, but we will tolerate. The zombie folks, no. We don't mess with them zombies, child. They will unfortunately unalive you. You will never have seen it coming because you was like, I just thought she was better than me. I didn't realize she was a zombie. Anyway, so Lori has slipped from being a better than you Mormon to being a zombie Mormon, right? So back to this date, Charles Vallow told his little date on the first date. My wife we was just regular LDS. I'm funeral potato. She's funeral potato. Everything was cool. Then she became a better than you. And now she done lost her whole mind. And she's out here just like doing all these strange things and saying Jesus is her boyfriend and all this other stuff. The heifer's crazy. I don't know what's going to happen. And the girl was like, wow, this is our first date. Girl, I hope he took you out for like a steak or something nice. Cause like, I cannot imagine hearing all this on the first date. Hello, Captain Overshare. You are team too much. Anyway, so she was just like, okay, I know you sell life insurance and stuff, and you have a big life insurance policy on your life. Why don't you just tell her that she's not the beneficiary of the life insurance anymore? And then maybe she won't unfortunately unalive you, and then you can divorce her ass and take me out to more nice restaurants like this one here. Oh, I hope he didn't take her to just like Taco Casita or something ridiculous like that. And so the lady said it as a joke, and then the next day she couldn't reach him, and she's like, I know this Mama Luke did not take me out and then totally ghost me. Okay, let me go back on M date or Moroni's or wherever they date, and I'm just gonna keep going, right? So it was months later where she was just like reading the newspaper, letting her little Google fingers do the walk. She was like, oh my goodness, that crazy lady done unfortunately unalived her husband. Hello, police. Thank goodness all these people called the police and told their story because this is crazy. Okay, so this is still opening statements, y'all. All this came out in opening statements. So then what happened was, okay, sorry, I'm getting a text message. I really should turn off the do not disturb. Anyway, Alex Cox, Lori's brother, was just like, yeah, Charles is going to come over and I'm going to get my pew-pew and I'm going to apply some lead to him. And then the zombie is going to be no longer on this mortal coil. Y'all, Alex, Lori's brother, killed Charles just right there on the living room. The man came in the house, they pew-pewed him up, and then they staged the scene and did all this other stuff. And I was like, oh my goodness, I do not understand what is happening, right? And so they staged the scene so that they took a baseball bat and they put it by his right hand so that Alex could say, ooh, Charles hit me in the back of my precious little head with a baseball bat. It is terrible. Oh my goodness. And then according to the state, there's plenty of evidence of everything. There's text messages and calls and all kinds of stuff, emails that show that Lori and Alex worked together to unfortunately unalive poor Charles so that Lori could hopefully get the life insurance money so that she could live happily ever after with a thumb from North Idaho to Iowa. Now Lori gets up and she's just like, hi. Now listen, Lori, she of many faces, was like, I'm going to use my softest, innocent girl voice, and I'm going to tell you what happened. My name is Lori Daybell. I don't know if she said her last name, because I feel like her last name implicates her, because she used to be Vallow and now she's a Daybell, meaning she unfortunately unalived the hot guy, and she did, after all, marry the thumb. And so she was just like, now see, if there's a conspiracy, which they say I'm guilty of, there has to be a plan. There was no plan. We were a blended family, and the evidence will show that I was very pretty, and the evidence will show that I have all this gorgeous hair. I was a hairdresser for 20 years. Do you know I've been able to figure out how to do my hair here in the prison? I'm doing the hair of the other ladies. Everybody looks fabulous back there, but that's another story for another day. The evidence will show that Charles was a life insurance salesman, and he always got the maximum amount of life insurance for both of us. And I was like, okay, that actually makes perfect sense to me. And she's just like, the evidence will show we were married for 13 years and I was really pretty and really shy, so demure, so mindful. And I was like, okay, all of this is perfectly reasonable. And then she said, we had a blended family. I had 2 kids, he had 2 kids, and then we adopted this baby together. My daughter, my biological daughter from like one of my previous marriages, she was really, really great with Charles, but then they started fighting when she became a teenager. And I was like, child, that tracks. I have lived with 4 teenagers, and it is, make you clutch your pearls. Anyway, so she was just like, Tylee started fighting with Charles, and I was trying to keep them apart. And so, like, I just told Charles, we need to take some space. Don't come to my house. But then I may or may not have lured him to my house. These are not the words she used, honey. I'm just giving you the spirit of what she said. She was just like, I invited him over to take JJ to school, but I made sure that my brother Alex was nearby so that we could unfortunately unalive him and I could get all that insurance money, because there was a hot thumb waiting for me up in North Idaho, Iowa. And so Tylee was just like, oh, I'm mad that you're here, Dad. And so Tylee was swinging around a bat or whatever. And then there was a fight over the bat. And my soon-to-be ex-husband was chasing me with the bat because he was very, very mean. And in all the melee, Charles tried to hit me with the bat. Alex took the gun and pew-pewed my husband up, and I was just like, oh, this is terrible. Just like any normal person would do, I'm gonna have to take the kids and go to McDonald's or Burger King or wherever it was. She took them to fast food, because usually I think the traditional meal when you have recently lost a parent is the Burger King drive-thru for chicken fingers. Okay. She goes on to let us know that 5 months after the unfortunate unaliving of my husband, my poor brother passed away from blood clots. It's not suspicious at all. He didn't go to Mexico the day before his untimely death. He didn't buy any medications that may have caused him to die in a way that looked like natural causes. None of that happened. What I personally had not realized was that there was only 5 months from the time Charles died until the time Alex died. That's a lot. And so what you need to understand is, in that 5 months, if you know this case, then you know, in that 5 months, Charles died, Alex died, JJ died, Tammy Daybell died, and then Lori and Chad got married. They wiped out all these people in a very short period of time. That is crazy. I knew it was a condensed timeline. I thought it was over the course of a year. I had no idea it was only 5 months. I was like, girl, you are going to jail. But I was like, you know what? You have stood up here and you've given a good opening statement. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. And she closes her opening statement by saying, this was a tragedy. It was not a crime. Family tragedies happen. And I was like, is she ripping off Chicago? It was a murder, but not a crime. Okay, you gonna do a dance too? Girl. So I was just like, okay. And then she sat down, so mindful, so demure. And then the state was like, okay, Heifer, let's see how this goes. So please hold. The state calls up the first police officer, right? The first police officer was just like, I was there on the scene. Alex was very calm. The dude was dead like a carp on the floor. What you want from me? Here's the thing you need to understand. Alex shot up the dude. Now, normally if it's something terrible happens like this, you're like, oh my goodness, this is terrible. Hello, 911. That's not what he did. He shot, Alex shot Charles and then waited 50 minutes. 5:50, nearly an hour to call for help. I guess he was like, let me just make sure you have fully exsanguinated, bled out there on the floor. Meanwhile, during that 50 minutes, he called his sister twice. I think he's still twitching a little bit. Let's give this another 15. I don't know what he said on the phone. I'm surmising what he said on the phone. He was like, yeah, chest is not rising or falling anymore. Can you call your thumb up there in North Idaho to Iowa and confirm that he's really dead and not just like appears to be dead? Because they believed in all kinds of freaky stuff. They might have seen him dead on the floor and be like, I don't know if he's really super duper dead. He's only like super dead. Okay, so Lori probably called and checked and was like, yeah, according to the thumb, he's like super duper dead. So go on and call for help. And I was like, okay. All these people are shady. And then Lori gets up for her cross-examination and she said, you said Alex was nonchalant. And the cop is like, that's not what I said. I said he was calm. And Lori was like, I thought you said he was nonchalant. Should he have been chalant? You don't know about his level of chalantness. Sometimes he's chalant, sometimes he's nonchalant. I don't know how many more times I can say nonchalant, but I think you have mischaracterized his chalantness level. And the cop was like, okay. Are there more questions, Heffa? That's not what he said. That's the spirit of what he said. And so she asked a lot of clarifying questions and then repeated his answers back. And I was like, what are we doing? What are we doing right now? I was like, okay, she's nervous. We're going to let her get started. Then the second cop came up and was like, that Alex, he was real calm. And Lori was like, well, maybe that's just his demeanor. You're calm. I'm calm. Everybody was calm. And the state got up and was just like, hey, officer, let me ask you a quick question. Are you calm here today? And the cop was like, And she was like, were you calm there on the scene? And he was like, I'm a cop. I see all kinds of craziness. You know what you want from me. And the state was like, right. But had you just shot somebody? And he was like, no, ma'am, I had not. I was like, ooh, very interesting distinction. Okay. And then in this case, the jurors get to ask questions. I was like, ooh, the way I love a juror question. Yes, please. And so the jury got up. I mean, one of the jurors had a question. I don't remember what it was. It was of no consequence to me. And I was just like, okay. Then a firefighter got up and the firefighter was like, they told us on the radio somebody had given this man CPR. Clearly, nobody had given him CPR. We got there. We was like, we tried for a couple minutes. We were like, now save your breath. He's super duper dead. And it's very tragic. This heifer gonna go to prison for a very long time. But her hair gonna look good while she goes to that face. Child, the glow down is so real. Anyway, that's all that happened on the first day of court. I will be reporting on this case breathlessly. So stay tuned, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you soon. Bye.